Mr. Wallroud, thank you for this interview. We noted yesterday on your Facebook page that there was a visit on 7 U.S. congressmen on the island, and you said that it was one of the most important meetings of 2019. Can you help us understand why that is?
Well, for first, it's because 7 members of Congress came, and it's as they recalled us themselves, that it was 22 years ago that such a number of U.S. congressmen were on Curacao. So with that, they opened let's say, the meeting, stating how important the meeting was for them. Also to be there in a big group, also with our advisors. So there were like 16 people in the meeting involved with us, members of Parliament. The meeting was about Venezuela. It was almost completely, we talked about Venezuela, or a little part on the, let's say, the humanitarian part, as Curacao playing a hub in the humanitarian aid, let's say, due to the crisis in Venezuela. But the rest of the meeting was definitely about how can we assist Curacao in knowing, and let's say they were, I have to say, they were well informed, probably by the consul of the United States in Curacao about the situation that we are dealing with due to the sanctions put on Venezuela. They were well informed, and actually it was an open discussion of how can we help, except for, let's say, what is let's say logical is that they use their influence to see if the sanctions put on Venezuela and that have effect on Curacao, that they will use their influence to mitigate that as much as possible. But they were open for discussion on how can we help Curacao when it comes to developing economic machines, so help us grow economically in order to be a stable country. And that for me was a point that that I stated that it was a very important meeting, because we got the open floor to discuss with other, let's say, representatives of the people, in this case the people of the United States, on how can we think and develop and help each other in growing the economy, and also based on that, how can we have a stable country when it comes to Curacao. And for me, that was important.
But they know that we are collateral, meaning in the sanctions and all, and I'm sure they also know that our economic situation.
Yeah.
Do they have the enough influence and power to do something to help us grow our economy?
Well, if I see they are most of the congressmen that were present are part of the Commission of Foreign Affairs, and for me that says something. They are, and we express that also as members of Parliament of Curacao, that at the end of the road, as you said, Curacao is collateral damage or is suffering from that due to the sanctions. And even though the sanctions from the 28th of April are going to be even much more, let's say, harder on especially PDVSA, which is going to affect us directly, this time to the heart of our economy. And they are aware of that. Of course, there are no hard guarantees given, but seeing the interest, also seeing the fact that a big delegation came, seeing the fact that they were good informed, and also opened the floor for discussion, how can we help, except from the part of influencing that Curacao gets a, let's say, a position where it is less harmed as possible from the sanctions, that they also see that apart from our problem with the refinery, they are open to think about how can we grow the economy. So for me, that's a good sign, a very good sign that they know that we are in trouble. B, they know that they have to solve or help solve the situation when it comes to refinery and the sanctions involved with it. That can be different things. For instance, helping us out to cover the period till there is a new operator for the refinery. And helping is in different ways you can do that. For more to get let's say, the concern out of how we're going to keep the people that work in the refinery, how we're going to pay them to move from phase A to phase B, so that till there is a moment for a new operator for the refinery. And they also were open for ideas. So one of the ideas that we planted, for instance, is the Curacao being a hub already, functioning as a hub, making it a hub plus. Because once you're recognized as being a hub, we can be a hub for different things, not only for humanitarian aid, but for instance, we talked about being a crisis center for, let's say, for the same way we did it when Hurricane Maria hit. Curacao became a center point for the crisis center for St. Martin and the Upper Caribbean. We mentioned that we would like that role, let's say, being out of the hurricane belt, to have that as a central role and a permanent role for Curacao when it comes to the hurricane season for the whole Upper Caribbean. Whatever happens, help is concentrated on Curacao and will be coordinated through Curacao by people of Curacao in coordination with all the other organizations, local and international organizations, but coordinated through Curacao. That's one of the possible ideas that came to the table. So maybe it's not in the place to discuss everything that we send on the table, but these are things I can talk about. At the end, I had a very good feeling. Of course, we didn't sign a memorandum of understanding or whatever, but and that's not in our place to do either. We are representatives. They are from the Congress. I'm from Parliament. I'm not in the government, but it is a sure, let's say, feeling that Curacao and the problems Curacao is facing due to the sanctions are being, let's say, closely monitored by not only the Dutch, of being part in the Dutch kingdom, but also by an important ally of the Dutch kingdom, which is the United States. And the United States has, for me, definitely shown now that they have an interest too. And I think the most important thing is they have an interest in a stable Curacao. Okay. And they are very aware that if they don't help out the islands in the lower south of the Caribbean to help, let's say, survive this economic disaster, actually, what is happening, that the stability may be lost. And those are the words that for me are the most important words, going after stability and also, let's say, understanding that if you don't help out to keep these islands afloat structurally, that the stability may be lost. And I think everybody involved is very aware that this stability is very important for the people of Curacao, but also for the United States and within the Dutch kingdom.
So you are giving us guarantee that they didn't come to prepare an attack on Venezuela or military intervention.
No, at all. The point is, they were interested in the economic part. How can we help out? And how can we grow the economy? What ideas do you have? What ideas do they have? How they see Curacao? We talked about our relationship with the European Union, how Curacao goods can be shipped from Curacao, or let's say for a certain percentage made in Curacao, shipped to the European market, and what the possibilities are in that, and how we see that. So different things were discussed where once more you could feel that they came on a mission, and that the mission is a positive mission, that they are aware of our problems, and that they are prepared to, let's say, talk about brighter ideas to strengthen our economy and to make Curacao at the end, and that's the most important part, I felt that came forward, to make Curacao a stable country that can, let's say, benefit from a good relationship between the U.S. and the kingdom.
Thank you.